Morning, everyone. Landscape Talk here, live and real. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of getting involved in the community, generating sales, leads, things like that. I think one of the things that we've learned and we can talk about and share a little bit is, you can give quotes to people, but if you want to improve your conversion rate and you want to actually get more sales, you have to meet people, and people buy from people. So I think that's a great thing. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We just came off a couple events that we did locally in our area. So we can talk a little bit about those and what we expect to maybe get or why we do them. If you're looking at growing, sales and those type of things, this would probably be a good episode to kind of tune in and get connected in the community. If you are a landscape business owner and you're looking for a proven roadmap landscape operating system to grow your business, improve your people and your profits, check out LOS. It has a peer group and will help you grow your business. One of the cool features with LOS is we have a la carte services. So if you need things like bookkeeping or some other things to help out, if you're a single owner operator, you just have a couple people, you can actually get a la carte services. So check them out. You can scan it, set up a time to talk about it. But grow your business, grow your profits. And so today we have Brandon and Dan in. And why don't we just share a little bit about our, philosophy with some of the, getting involved in the community, why it's important, and kind of what we've, why we do it. And, so I'll kind of turn to you, Brandon, first. By the way, we had, I posted out there a little bit about some of you can't make it up stories, and I got some real funny ones. So I'm excited about that a little bit later in the show. So.
Yeah, I'll start. We got involved in some community events, just trying to help out in the community, partner up, and make a difference in our current community that we work in, live in, our businesses in. Just trying to make a difference. We joined the chamber, which does a lot of different events, fundraising activities to the community, and then the one I'm in, that's what I'm doing, and then I'm also in another association. We just had an event yesterday where we did a fun event for vendors and businesses that we serve. And they did a fun charity event where we raised some money for kids. So really good stuff.
So what's in somebody's looking for an association, like what type of association, like what are you looking for by obviously doing good in the community? But if we're talking about like sales wise and building partnerships, like I think people would like to know like where to get plugged in. So like maybe give the specific of like who did you target to partner with and why?
Yeah, so we targeted customers that are important or good for us, like we deem. So everyone's going to have a different type of customer. But for us, in this instance, it was like business owners for the one. And then the other one is like apartment complexes, people that run apartment complexes, and they're going to be like senior people, owners, regionals, people in corporate and property managers. So that's who we got involved in. That's the target audience we're trying to talk to and build relationships with.
I think one thing that's key to kind of look at when you're doing a sales marketing plan or getting involved, which is kind of what we're talking about today, is each thing is different. So like if you are a landscape business and you are selling projects, if you're selling commercial maintenance, if you're looking for, property managers or HOA, there's not so much HOAs, but maybe apartment complexes, things like that. You really have to decide where you want to be active and be strategic, because you can't just go to that group and expect you're going to get something else. So right there, that's a great example, Brandon, of trying to get in front of property managers, doing good in the community. It's a win-win, gets exposure. And, I think that's excellent. And I think the other thing, challenges. So when you look at, if you're not getting sales and you're just quoting a bunch of work, a lot of times people have relationships, and relationships always trump typically a quote, right? So the idea is, we look to form relationships with partners so that it's not a low bid scenario or like a bid scenario, because they want to work with somebody that is aligned and around the same thing. So that doesn't mean we work with everybody, but the idea is like you want to have somebody that they're a good company and you like working with them. And I think that's important. So Dan, for you, maybe tell us a little bit about the event that you were at last night, and why we target that, who they are, or why we're targeting the group that you went with, and some of the benefits.
Yeah, so one of the groups we're involved in on my end is just basically a association of realtors in our area. So I went to an event last night. It was just like a local minor league baseball game, but the Realtors Association and kind of had their own area. They had like a meal set up for all the members and everything, everyone who came out, and we just kind of sponsored, had a sign out, talked to people, just basically helped with the meal side of things, like getting everyone the stuff, the catering and all that. So everyone came through, talked to them a little bit, and we target the people in the especially commercial real estate space, because like a lot of good contracts can come from that, and people have a lot of connections with both commercial and like industrial facilities, both real estate and property management. So it's a great circle to be a part of.
Yeah, so I think when you look at that, you have, you're looking at, we covered two things. We looked at some commercial, industrial, like there's a specific place for that. We also looked at, getting aligned with some, apartment complexes, if that's your thing. I also want to just look at maybe some residential. So when you think about residential, so for somebody that's looking for design, build, or residential services, I know, Dan, you're a part of another group, Brandon, you are as well. So maybe just talk about that group, because really what we're trying to paint the picture of is like, okay, if you're listening to this and you have these different services, just helping give some guidance of like maybe where to look, where businesses. So if you're looking for residential services, I think, Dan, you're in a group that is kind of good for that. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm also a member of a local chapter of LaTip, which is basically like community business owners and representatives of businesses. So like from a pretty wide variety of different categories, and it's very like it's specifically tip and referral based. So obviously, like you're making a lot of connections, you're getting to know people, building relationships with the people in the group. But it's also a very specific, like targeted, like there's benchmarks for like the tips that are being passed, and the quality of those tips. So definitely more like project services and like residential, projects come through that group for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, again, really important to kind of target specific areas, and you can see just with those three examples. And I think it's the more that I think one of the things that's great about being involved is people buy from people. So, I know the other day you were mentioning like, oh, this person wants us to do X, Y, and Z, but it's just showing up. It's being there. Like they want to use people that they know, trust. Yes, there is a percentage that there is like advertising that comes in, but I like to think about it as like different buckets. Like you have an advertising bucket, you have a networking and connecting bucket, and you have these different, things like maybe a referral bucket. So the idea, or, reviews, things like that. But that bucket of meeting people, if you're only doing one of them, maybe you're great at going to the networking events, but you haven't advertised, and we advertise, so you gotta have a balanced approach to some of these things. So you're not just getting one of them. Brandon, you want to talk a little bit about the other, group you're in and and what you maybe think it's good for?
Yeah, I'm part of the chamber. That's the event. That's the group you're specifying. Yeah. So the chamber is really good because it's mostly like small business owners, kind of like like Dan said with LaTip. It's a little bit more relaxed of a setting. Really focuses on building relationships, and I think the reason that's good is because you really bring together a bunch of people from different walks of life. So, like, anyone from insurance to staffing to banking. We're a landscaper in it. There's builders that are in it. Really, just all kinds of different walks of life. A bunch of insurance companies. Like I said, just a bunch of stuff like that. You really just get to build relationships. Matter of fact, there's a couple of people in it, ironically, which we didn't know before joining, but one of our customers, and then we actually are a customer of them as well. Some people that we've dealt with in the past for different businesses. So it's really good just to get to see people, talk to them a little bit, build those relationships. And then you always have that kind of in your back pocket. Like, hey, I might not need something from that person right now. They may not need anything from me right now. But it's always good because when you're dealing with small businesses, we all run into people that need stuff. And it might not be stuff that we can help them with, but it's always nice to have someone like, hey, I know a guy or a girl or a person that can help you out. Right. So I think that's the nice thing is like, we don't have to be able to provide every service under the sun. It's always good to be like, hey, I know a person that can help you out. They're good. They're good people. And here's their number. So I think that's a really good thing from it. And you organically get work from it. And it could be directly from that person, but it also could be, they could be bringing work to you from someone they know or a family friend or a customer that's looking for something. So I think that's where that stuff comes into play. Cause like, they know they're around you enough. They know you talk to them, it's a monthly meeting and they know you're a good person. And I think that's where everything in life kind of streams from. Like, if someone's a good person, they're going to try to do right by you, right? You trust them and you give them the time of day and you give them a chance until they give you a reason not to give you a chance, right? So I think that's what's big, and just being involved and knowing people. I know people that are in other people that are in the service industry of business, and I mean, I'd say 95% of the time they get something done, it's always by someone they know. Some way, somehow, somewhere. Build a house, need tree work done, concrete, plumbing, electrical, daycare, you name it. It's because they made some kind of connection with them. It's very rarely a thing where it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to find some random person.
Yeah, I think that's really important to make note. And when you think about sales, and when you do, I mean, we do a percentage that's like cold calling or cold reach out. But when you look at the percentage of some of that stuff, that just has to be one avenue of the whole plan. Because like you said, if you have the referrals and you have those things, it really drives, and people, you're going to get work. So it's really about having a balanced way. The other thing that I would think about is, we have, hydro seeding capabilities. So, just as another, avenue, one of the things that we focus on is we've been focusing on is trying to make sure we're active in areas that are, things that we do. So, hydro seeding capabilities, where would you go for that? What's a good group to be a part of? A builders association. So people that are building homes, tearing up the ground. A lot of times builders can, they have skid loaders and different equipment where they like smooth it out and it could be all prep, but they don't want to deal with the seeding or planting. So, if you're around these groups, you build their relationships in those, you're not going to see the sales immediately, but even within a 12-month period, a 1-year period, like if you plant these seeds, you're going to be amazed at what grows. It's just initially, it's like, why am I going to these events? Why am I meeting these people? But it definitely grows into something big. But you got to spend the time. Time's a tough thing. We're all juggling. Like, I can't go to that, but then it robs the revenue that you're looking for later or the growth. So I think that's really good. Thanks for sharing today. I think it's really important to look and stay balanced with your sales activity or be able to grow it. Anything that you have for you just can't make it up. As just a reminder, the You Can't Make It Up segment is all about the things that we see in the industry, whether it's our crews doing it or it's things that you see out and about. I've actually made a couple posts and people are sending some things in for their stories. I want to highlight one today. This was a great one, and it was got from somebody named Matt. He said he saw another company taking a stick edger with the metal blade and bumping it to get more metal blade out. You can't make it up. Are you kidding me? Like a string trimmer you bump to get more string out. He's out there pounding it on the ground because it's wearing down. And he thought it might, I don't know, grow a little bit more metal or something on the metal blade. I don't know. You can't make it up. Do you have anything?
I think I have two things. One, I'll come back to the my second thought. I just had a thought on what you said earlier, but I'll come back to that when we're done with this. But the one thing that kind of threw me off, a little bit of it can't make it up. I never thought I would see it. But I just sometimes watch, some other landscapers on the internet and stuff. And the one guy that does some content, because I watched some of his videos, one of his videos came up the other day, and it was a rap video about landscaping. And it really just threw me for a loop because I never thought I'd see a rap video about landscaping. So for me, I mean, maybe that's what guys are into. Hey, fine, whatever. But it just kind of threw me off because I never thought I would see a rap video about landscaping. So it kind of made me laugh, and that's my You Can't Make It Up for today.
Never know what you're gonna see. Dan, you got anything?
I mean, the only thing that's coming to mind as far as like stuff recently, we were just talking about like one of our crews, like having a little trouble like keeping up with. I mean, some new properties have been added in, so it's like it's a tight schedule. But like we're looking at it in terms of like the order like they're going in, and it's like it's like a little different every week. Like it's not, for some reason they're like swapping things out and doing things different days, and it's like, well, okay, that's probably the reason right there. So.
Yeah, you put together a schedule and it's tested by the system, logical order by systems that are smarter than us that just plan it all out. And somebody's like, you know what? I just think I want to drive the far way. And I wonder why I'm not getting done. You can't make it up.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe the episode. If you like it, share it with some of your other landscape people. If you have a can't make it up story, please send it in. We enjoy seeing it. I love hearing some of the funny things that come in. And again, like, share, and subscribe. And if you need anything, check out LOS. If you want to grow your business, implement processes, improve people and profit, reach out to them. Thanks. Talk soon.